Welcome to The Box Seat, brought to you by our good friends at Brecon Farms. Be sure to check out their draft at the Gavel House online wheeling sale. They kick things off nice and early. Lot number 2 will be their first lot to go under the hammer there online. You can check them out at the Gavel House website. Good luck to Ken and Karen with their lots at the sale. The Box Seat for the next 60 minutes. It's action-packed. Here's what's coming up. The Box Seat tonight. Matt Williamson joins us after a strong few days in the sulky. Axel Rose getting the job done, and Chicago Sky landing an Uncut Gems feature and more success through the week. Then Tim Williams joins us after Iron Brigade produced the upset and the Uncut Gems gelding an Entice Classic. We'll put Ollie Gregory in the hot seat. Quick questions, no hiding. And we revisit the Winton inquiry that everyone is talking about and where things sit now. Then Quick Hitch fires up, country championship timing, New Zealand and the Inter-Dominions, and the early season 2-year-old Group 1s all on the table. And in our feature preview, Group 1 racing at Addington and feature action from Alexandra Park. That's all coming up on The Box Seat. Yes, there it is, action-packed show ahead for you. Looking forward to chatting to Matt Williamson, a man who's well and truly in form, as well as Tim Williams. The race, I know we're a wee way out from the end of the season, but there'll be plenty of chatter around that premiership chase, and he'll be a big part of that with Team Stonewall. More on that very shortly. Last week's highlights, here they are.
Beware the Storm, a length in front. Nella Keenan keeps coming. Beware the Storm and Nella Keenan. Beware the Storm, kicks and wins. It's Jamal on the outside of Forever Mickey, then Son of a Mystery. Jamal just has to get a little anxious in the end. He's going to win it. There's $500,000 in the bank. Bring on next week. 100 to go, Larsa. Better with Bling's coming at him with the baldy face. Better with Bling on the outside of Larsa. Better with Bling, Larsa. Here's the first. The Bling got up. Sideshow Bruce, Iron Brigade's gone to him. Iron Brigade hit the front from Sideshow Bruce and Iron Brigade. Iron Brigade beat Sideshow Bruce. It's one over the line, the leader. Rock Lobster, the big danger. Fiery Bandito, the middle. Rock Lobster comes over the top and hits the front. It's Rock Lobster, and the Lobster's home again. Chicago Sky, 100 metres to go. Swept up and swept past. Ruby Rowe runs on in vain, but it's Chicago Sky. Axel Rose, the leader. Didn't Die's flying, but he's running out of time. Axel Rose leads from Didn't Die. Axel Rose will beat Didn't Die.
Hillbilly goes back-to-back strongly here. Emily Johnson gets her 50th New Zealand success too with that win. Coming through, Utah Blaze and the Magic Man home. He needs the post, I can too. He finds the post, gets the win by 3/4. Zachary Butcher. Great steer from the outside of the arm. Jassanova's in front. Here's West Star Millie on the scene strongly. Jassanova and Dr. Luck Chin. Very tight on the line. Jassanova will see it through.
Caitlin's starting to run on now. Razor Ray went past Party Pack. Caitlin's chiming in though. Caitlin down the outside, hit the front. Regal Summit got through. Time for victory late, but Caitlin's too good in the end. Caitlin won it. It's Cherish Me at the 100 metres, holding off Crunched and then Bella Chow. Cherish Me, the leader from a brave Crunched. It's going to be the same Quinella as the last heat, and Cherish Me beats home Crunched.
Yes, a horse at the back end of the highlights package there. Cherish Me looks to have a fair bit of potential. Looking forward to seeing her in the feature races come the back end of the season. With Brecon Farms, welcome once again to The Box Seat. Welcome to our team, Greg O'Connor and Brittany Graham. Britt, how are you handling your second winter here in Christchurch? We're not winter yet.
It's getting a little chilly though, isn't it, Matt? Looking forward to the next couple of weeks before it gets serious, and maybe Greg and I might be able to bounce away to Queensland for a couple of weeks to escape it. But all things being equal, it's been another busy week in harness racing, hasn't it? And I thoroughly enjoyed Friday night, a great cross-section of success, but this was certainly the highlight for mine in the Canterbury Plains Challenge final, with Better With Bling arriving in the nick of time to take out that $40,000 feature. Of course, Jesse Wetherall, his biggest training success, a horse that he co-owns and co-bred. Only started racing at 5, this horse, but has certainly made up for things and is having a wonderful season as now a 10-year-old. 25 runs last year. He's already had 14 runs this year, and I did a count up. 7 starts in the last 4 and a bit weeks. So I guess that's what that series is all about, rewarding horses that start week in, week out and keep our racing product going through the winter. So he's certainly earned himself a winter, hopefully successful run once more. He's doing a wonderful job, and it's, I think, a real highlight of what our industry can achieve for people.
And you saw the emotion from him after the race. He looked $1 million, did Better With Bling, and a cheeky wee 20,000 dropping in the back pocket. Not too bad, Greg O'Connor. Great racing there on Friday at Addington.
Yeah, it was, Matthew. Hi to you, hi to Brittany. I could nearly have made that my best as well, and I caught up with Jesse picking up his winning photograph at Race Images. Hope that Blim and AJ Berry gave him a discount, but congratulations to him and his uncle. That was magnificent.
Speaking of AJ Berry, would have made a quid off this.
400 plus owners. I confirmed that today with Nigel Armstrong. Isn't she just doing a job? Rock Lobster picked up a very brave one over Delayed. Fiery Bandito in a great race too, but that is her 6th win this year. She's honing in on 100,000 for the season as well. She's really developed into something quite special because, guys, we all know that, as described by John Dunn, she was a little bit ratty and a little bit erratic, but they just love her. And the big group that piled into the winning owners bar, Addington just about went into receivership after that. Yeah, it was a special win, and Nigel and Brenda do such a magnificent job. They get all of these people involved, and you know, I think it's a pretty cool thing. And yeah, when you're thinking of owners that wouldn't normally be involved on a horse that can win on a premier night, you're giving them that experience.
What we should do is, any people out the door, AJ Berry covers their beverages. How does that sound?
Yeah, good luck with that.
In the winners bar. Speaking of winners, Chicago Sky just proved the depth of the Southern Mares races. These horses have been running around for the last couple of months in really tough races in terms of the times that they've been running. They just go hammer and tong right from the start, and they've come to the Addington Raceway and that form stacked up. First 4 horses home were all in those Southern races. First 3 of them Southern Mares, Chicago Sky, Ruby Row and Just Like Jagger, and Electra King was 4th, and she'd of course been running around in those races in the south as well. So just proves that mile racing, Brittany, I guess it's a little bit like when horses go to Menangle. They have 3 or 4 runs there for one reason or another. It just hardens them up.
I guess it's a bit of a case of sink or swim, isn't it? Some horses deal with it, some horses don't, but those who do manage to deal with it, it really does seem to bring them on in regards to their future racing. So we've long said, well, for the last couple of years at least, what's the difference between the Aussie horses and the Kiwi horses at the moment at that high level? Maybe it is the hard racing, so maybe we'll see it change a little bit, trainers' plans going forward. Maybe they might race a little more.
Yep, well, the man who had the best seat in the house and behind Chicago Sky and had a pretty decent week all around, Matt Williamson.
29 won the third quarter. Leader Axel Rose. Almighty sticks on. Johnny Trotter going roughly. Held up playoffs as they turn and go. Axel Rose 4 lengths in front. Almighty. Johnny Trotter galloped. Axel Rose 150 to go. Now 5 lengths but closing. Didn't Die. Axel Rose the leader. Didn't Die's flying but he's running out of time. Axel Rose leads from Didn't Die. Axel Rose. Axel Rose will beat Didn't Die. Axel Rose driven like the best horse in the race, and he's only going to get better and better as well, the son of On Solitaire.
And Matty Williamson joins us here on the box seat. Matty, you just sort of get the impression that if he had something to go with him up the straight there, he would have been even more impressive.
Yeah, well, we hope that. That if one had got a bit closer, he could fight off. But the second horse flew home, so it was good that it was a wee way off us when we straightened up. But I was still really happy with his run.
Hey, Matty, congratulations. Work in progress. That's how you've described this horse. Goes to Addington again this week. What you're getting out of him in this campaign is somewhat of a bonus. Is that how you're seeing it?
Yeah, well, we were pretty kind to him last prep, and, we sort of had, sights set on this season being a bigger one for him. And, already things are starting to take shape a bit, and he's going to be a horse that continues to get better. He still races very greenly, like he's still pretty green in the early part of the race and even probably up the straight. But there's raw ability there, and it's just a matter of, nurturing him his way through to, seeing the best version.
What's his best attribute, mate? Is he quick for a trotter? Is he giving the impression he'll stay a bit?
I always thought the one thing he lacked was speed, but he's last couple of runs he started to really show some good speed too. So no, he's just an all-round nice horse, and just up to him now just how far he develops.
All right, he's $1.75 on Friday night in the Peninsula Beachfront, race number 1. Great to see Chicago Sky get that win at Addington Raceway. Obviously went super in the Neville final and the Oaks, and the guys just talking about these horses becoming hardened to this type of racing, and down your way, particularly around the circuits of Invercargill and the likes, this is making these horses a lot more race fit, if you like, and she showed that again on Friday night.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of good series at the moment, especially in the south for those mares like the Southern Bow, etc. And these mares have been copping a lot of hard racing. I've been lucky enough to be driving Hayley Jacker and raced against her a few times and beating her home. So it was good to get in the hot seat behind her. And she went sensational the other night.
She sure did, Maddie. Part of a great night for you. Congratulations on that. I think you've only had the 2 drives on Chicago Sky now. One when she was placed in the Oaks, and there again on Friday night. She looked the winner a little way from home, which is probably somewhat surprising to say considering she had some work to do. But even late in the piece, was it maybe a little easier than the margins suggested?
Yeah, that's always the case a wee bit with her. Brent Barclay obviously is generally the pilot with her, and he's always warned me a bit about not getting to the front too early because she knocks up, and obviously racing against her, it's been a characteristic I've seen as well. So she sort of swished on them very fast, and then got by them and started to have a wee goof and look around. But there's some real raw talent there. It's just a matter of her fully developing the click and on part.
She's clearly been well nurtured by John and Katrina Price. Do you know what their initial plans are with her? And I guess the back end of the year could be pretty fruitful if she continues on this way.
Yeah, she was going for a spell now, so for how long, I'm not too sure, but she went to the paddock after that run. So, yeah, they'll be aiming at, November and those types of things, no doubt.
Matty, it was a good week all round. You brought Master McGugan up here to Addington. You're going to bring him back again this Friday night. Talk to us about this horse. He looks a pretty handy customer.
Yeah, he's a lovely wee horse. He's just continued to develop this prep. He's always had nice manners and a nice gait, and he just threw the toys out a wee bit his first start. That was very uncharacteristic for him. He'd been so professional in all his trials and everything like that leading in, and then he did a heap wrong, and so he made a heap of changes on the back of that, and went to the trials. He was really good, and then obviously he was well-oiled Wednesday night.
All right, in terms of this week, Matty, you look to have some decent chances at Addington. What are you kind of making of Princess Sadie at the moment?
Yeah, sadly, she's the one probably going through the motions of the team a little bit. The one thing I would say, the shorter distance will help her this week, and she's got quite a good draw for her. But yeah, she's probably the one that's just failing to fire a wee bit, and I can't really put my finger on why. So we'll continue to make a few wee changes at home. So I'm hoping that that'll help.
You get to have another steer behind Rada, who's a big brute, and you've got Always Dreaming in the Country Championship final. They look a couple of decent each-way players.
Yeah, especially Rada, is it? I thought his run the other day was really good. He just got a bit flat-footed off the back and then found the line good, and he's back in grade in that field he's in, and off the unruly. So I thought he'd be very hard to beat. Always Dreaming, a best version of him would be up to running in the money, but it's a very strong race, so he'll need to be at his best.
Yeah, it looks a cracker, that one. We've also just got a little race for you, Matty, to be mindful of. Both you and John Dunn are currently sitting on 497 trotting wins, so maybe just keep that in the back of your mind for the next couple of weeks. Oh,
yeah, thanks. No, I'd love to beat John at something, so that'd be great. But, he's he's driving a lot of good trotters at the moment, Johnny. So we'll see how we go.
All right, good luck Friday. Thanks for joining us, Matty.
No, thanks very much.
Interesting stat that. A.G. Hurley 807 trotting wins, Maury Max 700, Blair's 667, Ricky's 616, and Matty and Johnny are the next best. I mean, you consider Matty's driven 1,300 winners and almost 500 of them trotters. Pretty decent go.
Yeah, stat me up, Steve. Geez, you've been doing your
Got
work
to keep
there,
up
brother.
with you two.
It's hard to beat.
What did you say when you
here.
first? What did she say when she first arrived to New Zealand?
I'm
she
a
was
nerd.
Stat nerd.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, speaking of not being a nerd, but Matthew Williamson and the ability of him to train a racehorse. I know he's got breeding, and I know he's got a lot of good stock in that, but he's doing a magic job. And it must be difficult, Brittany, juggling the driving initially, where that's what he was renowned for, and the training, because the opportunities mean that often he has to drive his own horses.
And the travel as well, something that I admire about all of those based down south and, you know, not necessarily always having meetings in the backyard. Well, that's certainly the case for the Williamsons there in Oamaru. I know they're central somewhat, but when you either head south for those sort of Invercargill and co meetings or you come here to Canterbury, it's a long old haul, and particularly when you have trotters, they can test your patience a little bit, so it could be a few long drives home, but all of them are racing really, really well at the moment, have some nice trotters in the group, which is good to see progressing through.
And I know that Matty very much credits his wife Charlotte for
with a young
of
family and that as well, mate. It takes some doing, you know, so yeah, hats off to them.
Got the chocolates.
Speaking of hats.
Yes. Well, apparently our producer had a fair few emails.
Yeah, and
He had a lot of emails. Last week's show, with this and something we'll talk about later on, the emails blew up. Took him 4 days to work through them, he said.
Yeah, it's a good comp though, and it's a pretty easy one to enter. Obviously, Got the Chocolates has captured quite a few fans out there by what he's doing on the track, and yeah, good on our team providing us with some gear to replicate that.
If you were to win, Greg, what would your choice of Whittaker's chocolate be of all of the different flavours?
I love a bit of caramello.
Jelly tip for me.
Jelly tip, you? Right.
What about yourself?
Just a bit of almond gold.
Okay.
Okay.
Jelly tip.
So good. It's my favourite thing about New Zealand.
Oh, do you not have that in Australia?
No.
You obviously don't like New Zealand very much if you're
I
eating
really
chocolate
like
is the most
chocolate.
joyous thing that you're going through. Is
I just
going
really like chocolate.
on the way home. Brit scoffing a block of jelly tip after doing the box seat with us.
I have to let you in on something here. She brought in a cake of it for Friday Night Lights.
Oh, so you've been on the jelly
Do you
tip
know what
too?
I said? No, I said, I'm not touching that. I understand how big a fan you are. So, and she took the whole lot. Took the whole lot home. Probably ate it on the way home. I don't
You
know.
can only ask once.
Let's move on. Tim Williams.
The Brigade is after him though. Iron Brigade only 2 lengths away from Bruntwood Brigade. Getting through Harrison John. Sideshow Bruce in front. Iron Brigade runs a big race. Then Harrison John. Sideshow Bruce. Iron Brigade's gone to him. Iron Brigade hit the front from Sideshow Bruce and Iron Brigade. Iron Brigade beat Sideshow Bruce and Harrison John. And this one for Team Stonewall.
That was perfect. Yeah, I thought there'd be a bit of speed early, and it's been a while since this fella's seen the gate, and it was probably the only question mark. But he relaxed nice, and like you say, we didn't have to do too much early. Just lobbed a nice spot, and it worked out really good. Everywhere we went, it just turned out real good for him.
Tim Williams with us. Tim, you're a chocolate man at all?
No, I can't say I am. Sorry, Matthew.
You've actually had a steer behind Got the Chocolates though.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough. Before he went up to Auckland, filled in for John that night. So, yeah, it looks like it might be the only go I might get unless John gets a suspension.
Timmy, congratulations on an Uncut gem, the second in that section for you with Iron Brigade. The couple of runs at Addington Raceway lately have suggested he can make his way all the way through to open company, if you like, because the horse he ran down on Friday night's no slouch.
No, that's right, Greg. Credit to the horse. He's done a super job at his last 4 or 5 starts. He's really turned into Mr. Consistent, and he's got plenty of options when you drive him. He's very versatile, and seems to have a lot of bottom to him. And as you see up the straight there the other night, the further we went, the better he got.
So the 3,200 metres in the Hydroflow New Zealand Country Championship final should be right up his alley, plus the fact you get a start over your major rivals. Will it be a case of ensuring that you get in front of him? He sits at around the second line of betting around $6.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, hopefully the 20-metre difference between us and those back markers is enough because, like you say, it's a really smart field, and the format's tough. And Franco Sinatra have been in over the summer. It's they're pretty smart customers. Just to mention a few, but like you say, it's a really smart field from head to toe.
He was super last week, Iron Brigade, Tim. I watched the replay back a couple of times and he looked to travel really strongly, which made me head a little further back in his form to make sure that he'll settle over the 2 miles. But prior, he's really gone to sleep. So is he that kind of horse? He can kind of be adaptable to whatever's going to transpire. And just on the 2 mile factor, how do you think he'll handle it?
Yeah, look, I think he will handle the 2 mile Brit. He's obviously had one go at Methven over the 3,000 and run a good second to his younger brother that day. So I think it might have just been a case of being back behind the mobile the other night. He was actually pretty good early, just from the 1,000 he probably travelled a little stronger than he needed to, but I wouldn't say it was over the top by any stretch either. So back to the stand, I think is the big thing for him settling. Once he steps and can jump on a helmet, he'll I've got no doubts he should fall asleep and make my job a little bit easier.
That's one of the features as part of a massive Friday night. $200,000 goes on the line in the size stakes for the 3-year-old colts and geldings. Clearly, Jamal, as if he wasn't already, is now certainly the horse to beat after the barrier draw. But you must have been very pleased with Son of a Mystery last week. Was a couple of weeks between runs and was very strong through the line in a quick last quarter.
Yeah, look, he was great, Brett. Yeah, it was obviously his first run for a wee bit. Obviously after Cambridge, he had the trip home and had to pick himself up again, and probably you mightn't see it on the footage, but it just got held up a touch right on the point of the bend the other night. Those other two just you're able to sneak away on him a touch, but to his credit, he really chased hard up the straight, and he hadn't had a run or a trial since Cambridge, so he should be improved off what he done the other night too.
Tim, BB King got the job done on Sunday. That would have been satisfying, particularly for the boss.
Took the pressure off. Didn't have to make my own smoke on Monday, Matt. That was the main thing. So, yeah, it's one of Andy's favourites. So, it was a great result.
All right. He looks a pretty handy horse to have in amongst your team at the moment, Tim. You've got, obviously, a few drives there on Friday night as we see him victorious there at Rangiora. Tactiva, Julie Jacker, Donovan, pretty handy sort of book you got there on Friday.
Yeah, we've got some great chances, Matt. Obviously, just got some sticky draws, but, great stakes on Friday too, so it's good fields and it's going to be tough racing.
All right, Tactiva seems to have come back well.
Yeah, look, he seems good. Obviously, a bit of a swing in draws this week from 1 the other night out to 9, but Mandy's put the blinds on this week too. Hopefully, just sharpen up a wee bit. He's sort of become a little bit relaxed through the run, so it's a race within his reach, but the draw makes it a little bit trickier. What
did you make of Donovan last start?
Yeah, look, probably the worst of his 3 runs to date, but I see Kev's made a number of gear changes this week too, so hopefully that's in his favour this week. But his prior runs were both full of merit, so hopefully the gear changes work this week.
All right, Tim, we saw the Stonewall Checkers out in force last winter. Are we going to see something similar this time around?
I'm sure we'll win a few races, Matt, but I don't think we haven't quite got the numbers to do what we done last year. But there's definitely a bit of quality about some of the ones that are going to be there through the winter this year. So it's hopefully another good winter.
All right, good luck Friday, Tim. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks very much, guys.
Handy book there for Tim on Friday. Looking forward to Addington Raceway, which we'll preview those races in the back end of the show. Time now for the hot seat here on the box seat, and we welcome Ollie Gregory. Ollie, short career for you so far, but you're 3 from 17. Are you ready to jump in the hot seat with us?
Yep.
All right, great stuff. First question. Describe yourself on race day in one word.
Organised.
Organised, a little bit like Greg and Britt here in the studio with us. Day racing or night racing?
Night.
Yep, we like night racing too. Now, this is probably the most stupid question that you're going to hear all week. Trotters or paces?
Trotters.
Yeah, that was pointless.
No success on paces, so it's trotters.
Yeah, it was pointless even asking you that question because we know that you love trotters. We'll turn the page. If you could be one driver in the world, who would you be?
Probably Puppet Chris Alford.
Oh, he goes good, doesn't he? You like a bit of travel, though. He seems to be on the road a lot. One thing you could add away from racing, Ollie?
Oh, I'd like to think I go all right at hunting.
Yeah, all right. You and Riley Harrison might be able to go on a wee hunting trip. What's one track you always drive well at?
Cambridge. All my winners are at Cambridge, so.
Yep, all three. Best moment of your career so far?
Oh, I'd have to be winning my first race on Tinkerbell.
Something I was never able to do. Who's the best person to beat on the track?
Oh, Crystal.
Yeah, very good. Can you, actually, no, there's one more question before you give us a winner. Who's your favourite box seat presenter, Ollie?
Oh, Mick Goering.
Oh, no.
Ollie. You've just upset everyone in here, Ollie, but anyway, can you... No, I'm just joking. Oh, he's disappeared. No, we were just kidding, Ollie. We were joking. Stay with us. We've got one more question. Ollie, can you give us a winner this week?
Camilla at Cambridge.
All right, and you also got Tinkerbell there as well. We'll be following you with great interest. Ollie, thanks for joining us here on the Box Seat Hot Seat, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, good man, Ollie. Yeah, he's MG fan club.
I think Michael called him.
No, I'll guarantee you, Michael didn't call him, but that's the old mic drop.
Ollie's going to have a full pager in the Herald tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. That's his first vote. That is absolutely his first vote. He hasn't had one, don't think.
But now he has.
Now he has. Congratulations, Michael. You've made
If you're watching.
Well done, Michael, from us all here on the Box Seat. As we head to a break, Brittany went out and caught up with Team Cullen this morning and had a bit of a chat about the week ahead.
More Group 1 racing this weekend, Hayden, and you have Chigsy going around in the Avon City Ford Welcome Stakes. He had a pretty tough run in the Diamond Creek Classic, but you must have been very proud of him.
Yeah, very proud of him, Brittany. You know, every time he stepped out on that racetrack, he's got better and better, you know, and, you know, he's never let us down.
He's had a couple of trips down south now. How's he come through the most recent of them?
Oh, really good. You know, the racing's definitely not affecting him. You know, if anything, he's really thriving on it. I thought his piece of training yesterday was very good, you know, and he's really sharpened up off the racing.
About a month since that, heading into Friday night, you elected for a trial in between. How was that to your eye?
Really good, you know, heading to the Diamond Creek Classic. We just give him a quiet run along at the trials as well, just to keep him ticking over. Not a hard run or whatnot, but you know, Blair was very happy with what he felt, and he said he got to the line very strong. So he's come through that run really well, and yeah, we're really pleased with him.
Yes, it's an interesting race on Friday night because there's the exposed form and then a couple of first starters as well. You've drawn outside of Roger that again. I'm sure you would have loved a slightly closer draw.
Yeah, for sure. That would have been nice. Yeah, to find the pegs first, I guess, and rather than having to sit outside them. But hopefully we can stay handy without having to do too much work.
You have two runners in the 3-year-old size stakes, Flying Ace and Mystery Creek. Flying Ace gets the inside draw. I guess he takes a different path to most, but he must have been thrilled when he saw that one.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, no, it's going to be a big help. It's his biggest test to date, you know. And yeah, look, he gets off the gate good, and if we come off hard and hold Jamal's back early, you know, if he can run top 5, you know, it'd be a great effort by him.
Mystery Creek comes through that semi-final where he led up last Friday night. What did you make of his performance?
We were disappointed originally. Yeah, he sort of done a bit of work off the arm, but it was only really you know, we run up the last half mile. Yeah, I just thought he might have dug a bit deeper, but we pulled the blood off him yesterday and it come back all clear. The only thing the vet could come up with is his allergies, so we've been treating him for that since yesterday, and hopefully we can get a better run into him Friday night.
And Trump Card goes around in the 4th, has had a couple of runs back this campaign. You must be thrilled with his form. I know the barrier draws aren't making life easy, but he continues to hit the line hard.
Yeah, he definitely does. Yeah, no, he's a lovely wee horse. He's a happy wee fella, and he's been hitting the line, as you said, really well his last few starts. So 3 on the second line, I don't think a bad draw for him, you know. Yeah, he's got gates. Oh, he can get off the back of one and get home nicely, and you know, if he can be thereabouts coming around the final turn, he'd be a good win chance, I thought.
While we're out here, we best get an update on a few of the stable stars. The girls, Arafura and Winelight, where are they at?
They just almost completed a month's jogging, so no, they've come back and they've had 10 weeks out, and they look super. Arafura, she's come back looking amazing, so that they can begin hobble work the start of next month and head towards those bigger races come Cup week.
What about We Walk by Faith?
He's headed to the paddock now. Yeah, look, he's there's ups and downs. This first part of the season. He is a very nice horse. We haven't dropped him yet, but just things sort of haven't gone to plan so far. And there's a nice bunch of open class horses going around also. So he's earned a well-deserved break now, and press on for the second half of the season.
And last start, Group 1 winner Secret Wish, that must have been really a positive, I guess, tick on her campaign, because she'd been racing so well and deserved it. So is she gone in the same direction to the paddock? Yeah, she has. Yeah, she's gone out. She'll go out for 5 weeks. But very pleased with what she's achieved so far this season. She's really strengthened up in her racing. She had a lot of speed last time in, but she showed she's quite a tough filly also. So another break under her belt also, and hopefully we can come back bigger and better.
This week's pacing performance of the week goes to Iron Brigade, and this was a proper upset. Sideshow Bruce looked the one to beat, but Iron Brigade had the last say. Tim Williams produced him with one big final run, and the Team Telfer runner powered over the top to take out the better bet Uncut Gems, Colts and Entires Classic. A $22 winner, a feature race boilover, and a performance that demanded attention. Iron Brigade, a deserving pacing performance of the week.
Yeah, it was a fantastic win from Iron Brigade. We look forward to seeing him in the Hydroflow Country Championship final, which we will talk about in the back end of the show. Greg, we're going to come to you now with some pretty sad news coming out of Cambridge during the week, the sudden passing of Susan Branch.
Yeah, and Susan had an indelible mark she's left on the harness industry, very good horsewoman in her own right. She actually was the first female to win a race at Claudelands, beating a star-studded field, if you read the Michael Guerin article on HRNZ. And in recent times, of course, Romeo Foxtrot has been the horse that's had her name in lights, if you like, got a whole lot of people involved, including her son David, ownership-wise, and it'll be pretty sentimental on Friday night when he goes round in race number 1 at Alexandra Park. Susan will be farewelled at Cambridge, which is absolutely appropriate. To David, to Murray, to the entire family, to her sister Jenny, and of course she's married to Robbie Hughes, so she's deeply ingrained in the harness racing industry, and really sorry to hear of her passing. She had an enormous part to play. That was their night in lights, if you like, winning on the Night of Champions with Romeo Foxtrot. But really sad to hear. She was on multiple committees, massive part of kids' carts. She'll be sadly missed. I had a chat with Don Burrows, who obviously trains the infamous Silver Linings, the grey trotter, and he come up to pay his respects to her on Sunday at Rangiora by Blake Armbands. Great friends, him and Peggy, with Susan and Murray for many, many years, and she'll be sadly missed. So echo those thoughts there from Greg, as this week Susan Branch will be farewell. You're watching The Box Seat with Brecon Farms, and we are going to turn back time a little bit to last week, where we had a discussion which sparked a few conversations via emails, I guess, Greg, and it was probably a conversation that we didn't quite get to the bottom of having it as part of Quick Hitch, so we're just going to give it a little bit more time tonight. Yeah, it was the relegation of Caught the Eye down south, and what we discussed on this show was around Nikita Burton, and it said in the Stites report that she declined to have a senior representative go in and help her out. Here, we'll just look at this footage, and there's not a whole lot of point going back over this, but you can see dragging us back to the right on the back there of Caught the Eye. Every opportunity for Rory McIlwraith to come to the outside, he didn't. He goes to the inside, and it misses by a nose, and it was deemed that Nikita had changed her line and therefore didn't give it a fair chance to run it down. I think what we were getting at last week was that I don't believe that any junior should go into the room without a senior representative with them. Whose responsibility is it? Nobody's been able to answer that for me this week. Is it the juniors' prerogative? Is it the stewards? Should they be helping them? I believe they should be, and I think there needs to be some form of I suppose, guidelines around that, because you don't want your young people going into a situation. You wouldn't go to court without a lawyer. They're not experienced enough to defend something like that, and this is no knock on her at all, but I just think a little bit more guidance around that would appease a few people in that regard. To everyone I've spoken about that inquiry, there is absolutely no way that Caught the Eye should have been relegated there. That should not have been upheld. I know that will upset the RIB team and those who made that decision, but I have seen no reason with the footage that we've been able to see that result should have changed.
Well, ultimately, it's a JCA decision, really, isn't it? The stewards and the people put the choice forward, and then the JCA make the call. So therefore, should the JCA be the ones who are saying that if you're an inexperienced junior driver, you must have somebody with you? And it can probably go to the point, Greg, where if we can have stewards who can steward a meeting remotely as such from their lounge room, what's stopping a junior getting someone in? Get Tony Herlihy from Auckland to come through via a Zoom call and help you out. We're in that sort of world at the moment.
Yep, totally. I totally agree. Again, it's just about guidelines and trying to help our young people out. The decision's been made. It's done and dusted, but I don't want to see that happen again.
I don't. If there was a senior in that room, that wouldn't have happened.
I don't think so.
That wouldn't have been changed over. But nonetheless, you can tell us what you think, as plenty of you did last week via the email, theboxseat@entangroup.co.nz. Plenty of opinions flying around about that one. And we've got two opinions to share with you tonight on Quick Hitch, Greg's and Brittany's. You know the rules. You have 20 seconds each. If you talk over, you will be cut off. First Quick Hitch, we're going to start away with you, Britt. Is the country championship final too late in the season?
It has been quite a long, drawn-out process. The first of the qualifiers back in August, 41 since then. So I guess come grand final time with big money on offer this week, there could well be some tired horses, and it also takes away from our potential New Zealand Cup horses having a decent midwinter break. So it has been a long, drawn-out process.
Yeah, 40 races, that's a heck of a lot for the country championship. In saying that, I think races like the Uncut Gems last week, if the final isn't this week, we might lose some out of those type of races. It's a blimmin' long season, but the field we've got on Friday night would indicate that it's not too bad.
Ooh, I'm about to give you a second for that. That was good. That was good. All right, second Quick Hitch. Greg, you can start this time around. Should New Zealand join the Inter-Dominion rotation?
Well, it really comes down to the finances behind it, because the old Inter-Dominion rotation, it was once every 8 years. You put in every other 7 years, and then you got the money at the end of it to help you fund the final. I think it's in the right place. Queensland's the perfect place for it. I'm not so sure that we should.
I think in theory it would be great, because at the moment it's somewhat losing relevancy with the New Zealand racing community. But yes, it's hard at the moment, particularly the way the Inter-Dominion is funded, with the Australian stallion tax having a part to play. And also it wouldn't work in its current time slot here either, so that would have to change.
Oh, you can have a second. You two, you're hard cases, you two. There's only one reason you don't want the Inter-Dominions to leave Brisbane.
You got it.
Because then you have to get cold.
No, well, I would like it to.
Because you both
here,
leave us for, I don't know, a month.
Would you like to come along?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'll just hold the fort here at Addington. Friday Night Lights. Me and Andy McCook and Matt Markham, the A-team. Final Quick Hitch. Britt, do we have too many early season 2-year-old Group 1 races?
Well, there's 3 Group 1s in the early part of the season, and then, of course, we have the Harness Million and also the Size Stakes late on in the year. So I do wonder if it's a little lopsided, and the early part of the season, again, is quite extended, meaning that there's a lack of time for these babies to have a break in the middle if they so desire to.
I definitely think it's worth reviewing, and I agree with Brittany. 3 in the first part of the season's too many. The one down south was 6 horses, 5 from the Canterbury region. Maybe that one could be removed. Still have the young guns in the north, have the Welcome Stakes, and then back end the season very much like what the 2-year-old season used to look like.
So we've only got one show left of this part of the season, and that will mean that there's only opportunity for probably 4 more Quick Hitches. So if you've been sitting there waiting, now's the time to send it through, and the team will have the burning questions for you next week. The box seat at entangroup.co.nz. You can talk to us about absolutely anything. As we head to a break here on the box seat, brought to you by Brecon Farms, our trotting performance of the week. Probably the most popular win of the week in terms of people in the birdcage as well.
This week's trotting performance of the week goes to Rock Lobster, and her 2026 season just keeps rolling. The Robert and Jenna Dunn trained mare made it 6 wins from 13 starts this year, claiming the Uncut Gems Aged Classic handicap trot. Riley Harrison gave her a peach of a drive, getting the better of stablemate One Over the Line by more than a length. With the favourites galloping out of contention, Rock Lobster took her chance and took it well. Another win, another big moment for her owners, and a thoroughly deserving winner of the Trotting Performance of the Week.
Here's what's on this week in harness racing. Thursday, Out the Gate is back with Cambridge under lights and a proper northern lead into the weekend. Friday Night Lights comes loaded. Addington carries the headline billing with a double Group 1 night. New Zealand Welcome Stakes and the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings Sire Stakes final. Up north, Alexandra Park puts the spotlight on the young female square gators with the Group 3 Northern Trotting Oaks. Then Sunday, the week spreads south. Winton hosts the Silk Road Southern Winter Pacing Final, while Timaru brings the curtain down with Winter Cup Day. Features north and south, all live, all covered, right here on Trackside and trackside.co.nz. Looks like a bit of Bar Louie, I think. Bar Louie won the first country championship of the season all the way back in the first week of August.
Is that Cup? Yeah.
But didn't qualify for the final. Didn't have enough runs.
Just missed out. Yes, the big.
Was that right what you said? 41 country cups?
By my calculations.
41? That's probably a quick hitch for another day, but it seems pretty excessive, doesn't it? It seems that every club that has a...
Is it opportunity?
Yeah.
Or is it excessive?
I don't know. Maybe we'll leave that for quick hitch, mate.
Well, there's only one show left, and I won't be here, which is great. Right,
For
let's
everyone.
look at Addington. It's one of the great races, of course. The Group 1 Garrard's New Zealand Sire Stakes Series final. I'd love to know how many years Garrard's have been on board. Greg, it's sort of synonymous with this race, isn't it? They're great sponsors.
Yeah, they've been tremendous sponsors. They sponsor both derbies as well, the Trotting and Pacing Derby. And I'll look that up for you and let the Friday Night Lights team know. But we all know who should probably win this race. His name is Jumel. He's come up with the right barrier draw, which is not great news for Son of a Mystery. I did speak to Tim White last night, Brent White actually, about Forever Mickey. Said he's come through that race tremendously well. Big money offers have been on the table. Syndicate have said no. Gee, there was a lot to like about him the other night, wasn't there?
Yeah, there sure was. And what I liked most about the performance is his 3 prior runs. We'd seen him driven for 1 run, but he proved that he has that, I guess, typical Mickey toughness as well. So he has the all-round game, albeit he's going to need to draw on all of that come Friday night, drawing outside of Jamel. I guess this is the end of the first part of the season for these 3-year-olds, so I wonder if a couple roll the dice to try and at least find the fence, because if they don't, then it's going to be awfully hard for them to come around.
Well, it's a $200,000 Group 1. If you go back, you're pretty much giving up. And I guess Blair Orange will be mindful of the fact that they might have a bit of a look. Who could be the ones that you could see off that front row that could potentially blast the arm?
I guess Son of a Mystery is probably the most obvious. He left the gate really well last week. Apart from I guess Freeze Frame is the defending champion. I thought he was better last week. He's obviously not had a perfect preparation, but when he moved off the turn, he moved nicely, probably came to the end of his run 50 metres out. But yeah, I guess it's a risky manoeuvre. You either roll the dice and try and find the fence, or are you better off staying at home?
Who would you have outside of Jumel if we had a Jumel out market, which I know the bookies always love. Well, they give us a Kiang Zahara out market, maybe a Jumel out market, guys and girls?
Yep, not a bad idea. I think Son of a Mystery, because I believe he will go forward. I don't think he's got any option but to do that. Tim Williams, I'm happy with that. I thought Special Occasion's been good in his last couple. I know he got an economical trip at Auckland, but the other night didn't get too many gaps. And John Dunn, aggressive driver. I don't see him pulling back at the start.
I see the deafeners on Jamel this week as well, so something that he hasn't worn to date, but just that little fraction keen last week, so hopefully that has the desired effect.
All right, it'll be an exciting race, as it always is. The Garrard's New Zealand Sire Stakes final for the 3-year-olds. Moving on to the Group 1 Avon City Ford New Zealand Welcome Stakes. What are we, 2 or 3 years it's been a Group 1? I reckon it's tough Won it the last year, it was a Group 2 potentially, but good horses won this. It's tough, got the chocolates, plenty of goodies, Greg.
Yeah, and it was a Group 1 long before that, lost that status and has obviously picked it up again. This is a good race, really good race. Obviously, Roger that, Travel Agent, Chigsy, all coming out of the Diamond Creek. Brent and Tim White's pair of debutantes both go really nicely, as does Not Guilty, but I was really taken by Travel Agent. I thought his run down there was outstanding. Spoke to John Dunn last night. He said he's absolutely where he wants him to be, except for the draw. He would like to have drawn inside of Roger that.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's added to the intrigue of this race, those debutantes, because I guess they're the unknown commodities, albeit there's been very little between the top three in betting. Roger that obviously has the advantage once more. He's the unbeaten runner. Travel Agent was scratched there a fortnight ago, but clearly has come through that with no issues. And Chigsy just keeps showing up. A couple of them trialled last week, Matt, in Chigsy and also Roger that. And there wasn't a whole lot between them. Roger that driven off cover, Chigsy up on pace as well. And Not Guilty actually won that trial, beat both of them. He's the son of King of Swing. So do we take a line through that?
All right, we'll see what the market moves are doing there on Friday Night Lights. Group 3, Yabby Dam Farms, Heather Williams Memorial. You would think, Greg, with it being a mobile, horses like Euro Style, Hidden Talent are extremely well placed.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I mean, she's been chasing off 40, 45 metres. Euro Style. Spoke to Derek Jones this morning. He said, I believe I've got her back where she needs to be. Brittany, you watched the trial as well. It was only a 2-horse trial, but a lot to like about her last 100 metres. And just to remind yourself how good Euro Style can be, go back 12 months and watch what she did in this race. She drew the same marble. She was wide on a 25-1 lead time, sat outside them and just ran away and hid. The best version of her would win this race 7 or 8 times out of 10, I reckon. And
I like, as much as it was only a 2-horse trial, that she went back to the trials and had that nice confidence boost, feeling good about herself. 27.6 the last quarter recorded, and she did it in an open bridle. We know she wears the blinds and the like, so there's a little bit more in the locker. Princess Sadie has good gate speed and her mobile record is excellent, so I thought she could play a part early. Ardenay Ken, actually a couple of them made mistakes last time out down south, so that's a little query. And Dash Josh is the big query runner because we haven't seen her since she went on that tear late last year. She's been back to the trials. I think she's had 5 trials and a couple of them have left a little bit to be desired, about a month since the most recent of them, but she's all class, and I believe they're planning to take her to Queensland for the Great Square, so this will be a great test.
Could Silver Linings give somewhat of a shout, top 4?
Well, I think that she's first to the fence. Dynasty is a long time out of the draw as a trotter. She's back in the draw and now she gets the inside gate. So I'm sure Bob would rather be in the race and out of it early, and Silver Linings is racing very well. She was scratched there, a late scratching on Sunday for poor Barry Manners off the tapes, but she's a great mobile beginner.
Yeah, she is. She'll get off the machine very quickly. Yeah, I think it's the one draw Bobby B would not have wanted coming off the unruly. Barrier 1, you can just nurse her a little bit early. She could end up 3, 4, 5 the fence, and that might not be the spot to be with a horse like Euro Style in front of her.
Where's Nellie Doyle at for you?
She's in my top 3 this week. I thought she was okay last week. And again, she is one that's massively advantaged by being in a mobile race. She finished 5th in the race last year. Yes, she's drawn the outside of the second row, but yeah, I think her and Euro Style probably the 2 best in it.
You like the price on Euro Style?
I do, yeah. Looking forward to seeing what we might be able to get it to by the end of the show. All
right, what do you make of the 2-year-old trotters at the moment, Greg? No Apollo 11, which makes things a little easier for some. Pretty even sort of bunch, though.
It is. Master McGugan was super last week. Tico Supersonic comes out of the Group 1 Young Guns final, went a terrific race for 3rd in that. I think La Venture will be the big improver, though. Really liked what this horse did last time, last week, and I just... There's a sense of timing there, Brittany, that leans me towards it being the horse to beat this week.
She's beautifully gated. She covers the ground so well. TK Supersonic, for me is my on-top selection, purely because La Venture and Master McGugan both got a little racy off the gate last week and had to be steadied. I know he made a mistake a couple of starts ago himself, but he's the most experienced. He's had that trip away, and I thought his last start effort was exceptional. So about $4 for him is a play for mine.
Right, I like that. This is going to be a good race. Well, I think it's just about my favourite race to call of the year, barring some of the other big ones though, because 3,200 metres, it's like one of those old school cups back in the early 2000s. The 3 wide train's pretty much there the whole way. You've got to be careful not to get too G'd up too early in these sort of races. It'll be helpful either right from the start, I'm picking.
Last year, Better Than Cash, taking advantage of Pin Seeker doing the bolt with a lap to go. That was another element that added to last year's edition. And I think of the 4 editions so far, 3 of them have gone under 4 minutes. So that just shows you how quickly they can go and how hard it is for horses off handicaps. In saying that, It's Tough has done no wrong for such a long time, is so versatile, has clearly been set towards this race. He's the hardest to beat for mine, despite the 30 metres. And I just thought the fact that there's only the 3 horses off the front and a couple of them unruly, it just evens the score a little.
Yeah, only one horse has tried to win this race off 30 metres, and it was Ultimeteor, and he was a brave third in that one. You're right, they do run 4 minutes, and they'll run that again this week because this is a deep, deep race. I guess the good thing for It's Tough is that he's got some friends back there with him, so he might not just have to be the only one going around them. Iron Brigade's run last week was very good. I know he got the right run, but he's good from a stand. He's got an advantage of the handicaps, and I think therefore he's backable. Maybe top 2, top 3 more than win, but I'd be having some of that $6.
All right, we've got some North Islanders in there as well, and Bruntwood Brigade as well, and he hasn't really done anything wrong this prep either. I
think he's a major danger to his stablemate. The Diamond Racing stable have a wonderful record in this race, winning 2 of the 4 editions so far, and I love the way he just continues to tough it out, Bruntwood Brigade. He was off the bit a long way from home last week, but just continued to find the line, and I guess it's that kind of race, isn't it? It could well be a survival of the fittest again.
Was that Mighty Louis one? Was that probably your... That was an incredible race, wasn't it?
He missed the start.
You can go back and watch that as well if you
blew
like.
the start.
Yeah.
And then just appeared. I just love it because it's like, it brings back memories of when you were a kid watching the Cup, and you can hear Rion Murtha, the 3 wide train starts at the 2600. Just one of those real old school races. I just love it.
Yeah,
can't get enough. What we should do is, I should cross back down to you guys at about the winning post or the lap to go. You give an assessment of how things are going, and then come back up to me and I'll bring them home.
It's like a Friday night
You're
lights
just out there a
relay.
wee bit, aren't you?
I don't know about that.
Very different, Greg. You should know that by now. Group 3 Woodland Stud Northern Trotting Oaks up at Alexandra Park. Our Cole, $1.50. Britt, what have you made of her? We had super high expectations after her first couple of runs, and maybe they just took the edge off her a little bit.
I think that was to her detriment, us having such high expectations, because then after she was able to win on the Night of Champions and beat most of her rivals, we thought, well, here we go, we're away, because she was still so early in her campaign, and she's had some pretty tough runs, and she's still very much learning her craft. Interestingly, I'm surprised, Greg, at the disparity between she and Petita Moore. I know that she beat Petita Moore the last time that they met, but she did miss the derby to be freshened up, which gave the impression she was probably ready for one. But Petita Moore just has a lot of natural early speed this time in, and maybe she again settles in front of our Cole.
Yeah, I think Jacob will definitely be taking advantage of that. So, our Cole's the one to beat, though. I don't think she's got a pretty bright future. Those two look a lot Quinella for mine.
$1.50. $1.50. Not enough for the boost, though. Greg and Britt have got the same best bet this week, and it'll be the box seat boost as well.
It sure will. I thought after the last couple of weeks of Greg and I going head-to-head, people were going to start thinking that we didn't like each other very much. So I thought in solidarity I would join him this week. All things being equal, he did put his best bet in first, but I've jumped aboard the ship, and I do just think she's so well-placed, Euro style. There's already been early market support for her off the mobile. Blinds back on Friday night. I think she'll be there to run a big race.
Yeah, I totally agree, Britt. I think she'll be going forward as she did last year. Already mentioned the fact that she just sat in the middle of the track, basically, and beat these types of horses, and I think she'll do it again. Her at her best, Matthew, is good enough to win this by 2 or 3 lengths. She doesn't need to do that, but I think she might just about do it.
$3 will do. We like that.
It will, yeah,
$3.
loving that price.
Bookie's got one on us last week.
Yeah.
Sideshow Bruce going down. I'm picking that would have been not the best result for them, for $2. But anyway, they win. Hopefully we win this week. My best is It's Tough. $2.80. You're shaking your head like you think I'm
I am not.
a madman for tipping a horse off 30 metres
I'm
over
TM2.
3,200. Look at that. Sliding blinds up, plug still in, more often than not with him as well. He's the one horse in the race who's going to be in the Cup this year. Not saying the others won't, but off 30, I reckon they'll play into his hands. $3 boosted Euro style, $2.90 It's Tough. Michael Guerin obviously is writing that big 2-pager for Ollie Gregory in the Herald, so he never sent through a best bet for us. I'll be away next week, team. But
Hey, Matthew,
it's been a good year.
Yeah, been a good year.
Yes.
Well, we started the first week in September from memory, so a little bit like the country championship. We've been up a while.
We certainly have. Due for the paddock. I look like I've been in the paddock. Anyway, one more show.
Yeah.
Next week. Then back first week of September, somewhere around there. But we'll keep you updated anyway. And as always, we thank our good friends at Brecon Farms, Ken and Karen Brecon, for their ongoing support of our show. Thanks to Greg, thanks to Brittany and all of our guests. And to you at home, don't forget to send in those emails. Until next time, see you later.